Right, welcome everybody to the Echo annual celebration. Let's get a few things out of the way first of all. We'll draw a line under the football. As much as I don't want to give those wretched people a trophy, I'm going to have to. But let's start off with a couple of things. First and foremost, Janet is selling raffle tickets this evening. Just get your hands in your pockets and get some raffle tickets bought. She's at the front here and she'll be cutting around during the course of the evening. One particular thank you I want to say to this evening is to Steve Fantuzzi for organising the football. Thanks very much, Steve. I know everybody appreciates it, and put your hands together for a little Steve. Right, before I get round to the actual presentation itself then, we've raised about 450 quid just on the entrance fees for the football, and with the fines you're probably looking at sort of the best part of about 600 quid. So again, thank you to everybody that took part. I mean, it is good fun, and give yourselves a round of applause. It's awesome. One thing on that, I think a lot of people have got a bit of a misconception about Stoney and Friends. It's just carp anglers that do, anglers that do this thing and raise money. Linda Jenkins, Keith's wife, runs a little thing every year called Pinky and Porky, and I didn't believe I'd have to say that in front of her for the blokes that I just have. And obviously it's a cancer awareness do. And she raised £600 this year, and I'd like to get Linda up here to present the cheque to Alan. Come here, Bill. We need photos. Cool. Lovely. Well done, Linda. Right, Garth, come on, boys. DHP ended up being the overall winners. Don't boo. And coming up. Thank you, Garth. Okay, Mrs. Chairman, over to you.
It's your opening address.
My opening address, is it? Oh, right, I've got the wrong thing. Cool. Right, I'll just have a brief word about the evening now and about Echo itself. And again, there's a couple of thank yous I want to make. One to Tomo, Captain Tomo. Now, I just cannot believe that for organising.
Can I ask Tomo to stand up, please? Because we
don't
know who these people
Tomo,
are. Tomo, stand up,
please.
Stand up. Stand up. Please stand up.
I remember we were a couple of little corporals downtown getting drunk and falling over and throwing through windows. Amazing. Captain Tomo, that's unbelievable. And also, I'd like to give a little bit of thanks to Richard Spencer Odd, who's really become our sort of PR man and doing the photography for everybody. Thanks, Odd. We really appreciate it, mate. I'm not a great lover of the wiki wanky web thing and all these forums and everything, but often I get my attention's drawn to things and I look at things. And most of it, I mean, it's a load of old bullshit that people talk about. They have no idea what's going on, and that sort of kind of frightens me. And a lot of people wonder what Echo are actually achieving. Now, Ruth will talk about things a little bit later on. And it's gone way beyond anything that Keith and I could ever expect. All we ever wanted to do was raise awareness, yeah? And some things were said and done that, you know, maybe I'm not that proud of now, but I'm sort of writing something at the moment, and in it I've said I defy anybody to show me in print where I ever said that somebody shouldn't go fishing anywhere. I defy them to find where I wrote the words wrong'un, and where I ever wrote the words keep it real. People that don't want to join Echo say that that's what I've said, and I never ever did. If you look at the first things we ever wrote about Echo and the things that went out on the street, all it said about foreign carp was toughening up the legislation that concerned the importation of those fish into the country. It didn't say kill them all, it didn't call them wrong uns, and I certainly never put the words keep it real. And I want you to understand that. Yeah, we realised very early on that you couldn't do that. You were just alienating people, and if we wanted this thing to work, then everybody in carp fishing needed to be involved. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And I'm quite ashamed that I'm part of a group of people that I think has got so much to offer, yet none of the individuals want to offer anything themselves. And I think if you aren't a member of Echo, I'm not going to say you should be ashamed, but I think you need to look at yourself and wonder what you can give back to a sport that gives you so much pleasure. And it really, really does annoy me, especially when I see so much bad publicity about what Echo's achieved. And interestingly, in a roundabout way this morning, I'm not a great lover of watching fishing on the television, and Ruth will tell you a little bit later on about the great strides that Echo's made this year, and it is nothing short of unbelievable. And if you think that all this angling unity thing has come about because everybody's all of a sudden decided that they want a unified angling group, that's wrong. If we hadn't stuck our head above the parapet, none of this would have been going on. Talk of unifying the groups, bringing all the different disciplines in together. And again, I don't want you to lose sight of that. And I don't say that in an egotistical way. It's the organisation, and I'm trying desperately to get it away from some of the silly stuff that was said in the early days, because it is becoming so much more than that. This morning, by the way, you know what I was talking about, there's an angling programme on. I'm not going to mention it, but from some of the things I'll say and the people that have seen it, you'll understand what happened. Two guys going fishing on a carp fishing lake, and in the original CD, and we watched it at the lodge at Orton and all had a real good laugh about it because it was a bit of a joke. They had Nigel Hewlett from the British Record Fish Committee at the Natural History Museum, and he spoke to the presenter about how wrong it was that people were bringing this carp into this country, distorting our angling, killing native fish or fish that were already here, and the fact that the actual carp record might actually disappear at some point, similar to the catfish situation. In this one I saw this morning, at the beginning, Nigel Hewlett had been taken out of the equation. They simply had some old fossil there with the pharyngeal teeth from Carissa when she died in the zoo. They cut that bit out completely, and several pieces during the filming they changed completely. And I rang somebody who is massively involved in that this morning as I was doing my shopping around Tesco's, and spoke to him. And I said, what happened there then? And he said, you've only got yourselves to blame. And because of Echo, they changed the whole thing and made it look and took it from a completely different perspective. And that is the power this organisation has got. That's the power that carp fishermen and all fishermen have got to change the future and make it a better place. And unless we do, we're never ever going to get there. We are getting there because of the dedication of a very, very few people. And you know, we need to get the message out there, and we need to encourage people to join the organisation. If you go to Parliament with 10, 15,000 names in your back pocket, then you can do whatever you want. You know, I think Ruth and Mike Ayling have proved that now, beyond all doubt. But I think we really need to look at ourselves if we want to protect something that, well, we profess that we all love. I don't want to say any more than that, but other than thanks all for coming. We've got some entertainment on, and now I'll hand you over to Ruthie.